acá. Okay. Let's prepare everything, and then it's very, as I said, it's very brief. The topic is very brief, but as also I brought some videos that talks about basically over here they develop 3 cities, big cities, which were famous during those days at the beginning of this civilization. Okay, so we're going to talk. The principal one is the Harappan. Okay, that's the Harappan city. Japanese, but civilization was called Harappan. Okay, Shell just arrived. Shelly. So where are you, Shelly? Here. The Harappan. Okay, here it is. It's lazy today. It's lazy today. Maybe because it's Friday. Okay, here it is. Okay, let's begin then, guys. Let me open this. Okay. Here it is. Okay. Now, we finished talking about the Egyptian, Mesopotamian civilization and everything. Now we're gonna start with another civilization very important. It's the India. The geography and early India. Okay, we're gonna talk about that. Now this is the, let me present you, let me introduce you. This is the country of India. Okay, it's like the scholar said that it's like, so it's very big. It's a very big country, and they said that it's like a subcontinent. Es como otro continente dentro de otro continente, del continente asiático. Ellos dicen. Why? Because it's so big. Entonces, en esta área, mira, dice Nepal, en esa área hay una cadena de montañas, donde están las montañas más altas de la Tierra, en esta área. Y aquí vamos a encontrar el Everest, la montaña más alta. Aquí está, en esta área está el Everest, que es la montaña más alta del mundo. ¿Okay? Y divide toda esta cadena de montañas, divide China o el resto de Asia con la India. ¿Ok? Esa es una particularidad. Y todos los ríos nacen de acá, de los nevados de esta área, todos los ríos de la India. Y cuando se deshielan, se desbordan los ríos. Okay? Now, let's begin the class, guys. Okay? Now, like I said, the Himalayas are a mountain range. Es toda una columna de montaña que divide el Asia de la India. Okay, el resto de Asia. Himalayas are mountains. The tower along India's northern border and include the world's tallest mountain. Aquí incluye la montaña más alta. Yo no sé, de repente será esta la que está aquí. De repente. La montaña de Everest Mountain. Now, the main idea, the geography of India includes high mountains, great rivers, and heavy seasonal rains. Estas son las características. Altas montañas muy altas, los ríos y los monzones, que es el clima, que es lluvia. Vamos a ver más adelante qué consiste. Landform and rivers. The India is huge. In fact, it's so big that many geographers call it subcontinent. Es tan grande que los estudiosos le dicen, los geógrafos le dicen que es como un subcontinente dentro del continente asiático. If you look at the physical map of India, for example, you can see that the mountains largely separate India from the rest of Asia. That's what I just explained. Several major rivers flow out of the Himalayas. Todos nacen desde el Himalayas. The valley of one of them, el valle de uno de esos, es el Hindú. El Indus es un valle. Was the located of some of ancient Indian earliest settlement, que era donde se ubicaron una de las primeras civilizaciones en esa época. The Indus River, era el río Indus también, is located in present day in Pakistan, queda en Pakistán. Ok, Pakistán queda acá, y entonces por aquí debe haber pasado el Indus River por acá. Esto es la India, chicos. Está la columna de Himalaya, miren, todas estas son puras montañas, las Himalayas. Y aquí por aquí tiene que estar el monte Everest. Aquí se ve la India en el mapa mundi, se ve la India, que es esta cosita aquí. Todo esto es la India. Very good, guys. Now, when heavy when the heavy snow is in the Himalayas melted, cuando la nieve se derrite, the Indus floated. El río Indus se desborda. Floated es desbordado. The Ganges River is located in the plains of the northern Indian continent. Over here, este otro río muy importante, the Ganges. Y siempre nace de acá desde las montañas. It's relatively short, but flows through one of the most fertile and populated regions in the world. Recorre toda esta área muy poblada en esta región. Aquí queda Bangladesh y otras ciudades por acá muy pobladas. Muy bien. Now, once widely used in transportation, the Ganges is still an important trade route in some areas. Today, it's also an important source of electric power. ¿Por qué? Porque ahí en esa seguro que habrán hecho esto hidroeléctricas para que produzca energía eléctrica. Hoy usan el río porque es muy caudaloso el río. Now, let's talk about the climate. Most of the Indian has a hot and humid weather. Igual que acá en Panamá. Acá el clima es caluroso y es muy húmedo. ¿Ya? This climate is heavily influenced by Indians' monsoon. Está influenciado por los monsones. Y vamos a ver que los son monsones. Que monsoons are massive, seasonally changing sea breeze. Cuando cambia la brisa marina, dice. Changing breeze, circulation that form due to temperature difference between land and ocean. Acá en la tierra hace calor y vienen las brisas marinas, se chocan las dos veces con condensación y comienzan las lluvias y lluvias y llueve, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, una semana de lluvia y sucede esto lo que se ve aquí en la figura, chicos. Se desbordan los ríos y se inundan las ciudades. A eso se llama los monsoons, lluvia, debido a este fenómeno. Eso sucede allá siempre. In this summer, monsoon winds blow into India from the Indian Ocean brings heavy rains that can cause terrible floods, como las que vimos aquí en esta figura. Now, let's talk about the first civilization, the Harappan civilization. Historians call India's first civilization the Harappan civilization. Most of these settlers lay along the Indus River that we mentioned before. Along the ancient course of Sarasvati River, un río que se llama Sarasvati, que ya no existe, in the desert or northwest India. Once major river, Sarasvati has long since disappeared, ya desapareció con el transcurso de los años. Like other ancient societies, the Harappan civilization grew as irrigation agriculture improved. Harappan farmers learned to control annual river flows in a way similar to the Mesopotamia's model, como los mesopotamios que ellos controlaban las inundaciones con los canales. ¿Se acuerdan que ellos hacían canales de irrigación? Así mismo. Now, esta es el área donde vive la Harappan Civilization, aquí, en esta área. Entonces, esta área es la Harappan Civilization. Y hay 3 ciudades que vamos a mencionar. Una de ellas es Mohenjo-Daro. La otra no me acuerdo, vamos a verla más adelante. The Harappan Civilization developed on the fertile land around the Indus. Y aquí está el Indus, chicos. Aquí está, dice Indus River y Sarasvati, que ya no existe, desapareció este río en esta área. O sea que era muy rica porque venía, acuérdense que acá desde las Himalayas, cuando se derretían, bajaba mucha agua y se formaban estos 2 ríos, el Indus y el Sarasvati, ¿ya? Por acá está el Ganges que les hablé, por acá se va el Ganges y termina acá en este delta. Acuérdense que estos son deltas, diferentes ramales. Now, with organized agriculture came organized government and the division of labor. Okay, let's move on, guys. Now, in the Indian first cities, las primeras ciudades en la India, Harappan civilization was named after the modern city of Harappa in Pakistan. Among the greatest source of information we have about Harappan civilization are the ruins of 3 large cities. Hemos encontrado la ruina de 3 grandes ciudades, que es una, Harappa, el otro, Mohenjo-Daro y Kalibanga. Aquí está Harappa, que quedaba aquí. Acá está Mohenjo-Daro. Acuérdense que este es el Indus. Y acá el otro río. El otro río, ¿ya? Aquí está entonces Harappa, el Mohenjo-Daro y el último que es Rajigarhi o Hariani. Rajigarhi. Está Calibanga. No, es que, disculpen Calibanga. Estas son las 3 ciudades, ¿ya? Las grandes ciudades, y se han encontrado restos de esas ciudades. Muy bien. All 3 cities were well planned. Each stood near a towering fortress. Todos estaban fortificados. Miren, chicos, todos tenían una fortaleza que rodeaba y defendía así la gran ciudad, cada una de las ciudades. Era bien moderno. The fortress defend could look down on the city's bricks and streets. Todas las calles eran hechas de ladrillos. O sea, está bien diseñada. Miren, las calles se veían, todas están bien diseñadas. Eso es lo interesante de esas 3 ciudades. Harappan achievement, los logros de los Harappan, dice. The Harappan civilization was very advanced. Most houses had bathrooms. En la mayoría de las casas tenían baño y tenían un inodoro de plomería. O sea que se sabían que el agua tenía su desagüe. Los artisans made excellent pottery, jewelry, ivory objects, and clothing and cotton clothing for readily available resources. The Harappan also developed India's first writing system. Ellos también tenían su propio sistema de escritura, pero los estudiosos no pudieron descifrar qué es lo que decía, cómo sucedió en la civilización egipcia. ¿Se acuerdan que ellos encontraron la stone? ¿Cómo es que se llama la piedra esa?
Rosetta Stone.
¿Cómo?
Rosetta Stone.
Rosetta Stone, excellent. That's it. The Rosetta Stone. With the Rosetta Stone, they were able to uncover or decode all the language. But over here with the Harappan, the scholars, they haven't yet learned how to read this language. So that's a big mystery. Okay. Now over here are all the achievements that they did during those years: create wheels for both pottery and transportation, pictograms like these ones, walls surrounding cities, prevent floodings, toilets, and so on. And also they invent the barber hooks, que son los hooks son los que usan para cuando ustedes se van a pescar, los anzuelos, eso se llaman hooks, barbed hooks, y las líneas para pescar, the fishing, for fishing. Okay. The end. Okay, perfect. Now I wanna show the video that I have over here for you guys. Here it is. Okay, this is, let me see, which one is this? Let me see, this is,
the ancient city of Mohenjo-Daro is one of the first urban centers in human history. Nestled in southern Pakistan's Indus River Valley, Mohenjo-Daro is the largest and best preserved city of the Indus civilization, the earliest known civilization of the Indian subcontinent. Mohenjo-Daro was built around 2500 BC, about the same time the Great Pyramids were being built in Egypt, and it spanned a surface area of nearly 500 acres, an incredible size for a city of this time period. Because of Mohenjo-Daro's grand scale, archaeologists believe it may have served as a seat of power for the Indus civilization. The city was divided into 2 districts, the Citadel and the Lower Town. The Citadel is home to the city's exceptional monuments, including the Great Bath, a 900-square-foot tank fed from the Indus River. Mohenjo-Daro also had a sophisticated water system. Houses had baths and toilets, and the town featured both an elaborate sewage system and fresh water in 700 wells throughout the city. The Roman baths, some of history's most famous waterway systems, weren't constructed until many hundreds of years after Mohenjo-Daro's Great Bath. Mohenjo-Daro has no places of worship or governance, such as palaces, royal tombs, or temples. This may indicate that the society was not built around state interests like the Egyptian and Mesopotamian societies at the time. Rather, the class structure of Mohenjo-Daro may have been relatively equal. The city's second district, the Lower Town, may demonstrate the society's egalitarian structure. The Lower Town, with its intricate water system, was home to between 20,000 to 40,000 people. Unlike many urban areas of its time, it was laid out in a grid system similar to modern-day city blocks. After approximately 600 years, the city collapsed. No one is quite sure why, but the cause could potentially have been a change within the culture or in the path of the river. Without its crucial source of water, the city's residents may have moved away, leaving Mohenjo-Daro nearly abandoned. In 1911, nearly 4,000 years after the city fell into ruin, archaeologists paid their first visit. The ensuing decades of excavations have unearthed countless clues that tell the tale of Mohenjo-Daro, but it still holds secrets for us to discover.
Okay, now let's watch the other video. Here, all these videos are already, I loaded up in your platform new. Let's watch this one. This is another city.
Harappan architecture. In this module, you learn about the layout and architecture of Harappan cities. Every ruin has a story to tell. A story of its glorious past. A story of what brought about its present. A story of what it might have been to what it has become. Nearly 150 years ago, in the 1800s, when railway lines were being laid down for the first time in Punjab, engineers stumbled upon the site of Harappa in present-day Pakistan. To them, it seemed like a mound that was a rich source of ready-made, high-quality bricks. So, they carried away thousands of bricks from the mound to build railway lines. Little did they know that they had found and partially destroyed one of the oldest cities in the subcontinent, Harappa, a city that was about 4,700 years old. Harappa lay hidden in the 1920s when a group of archaeologists discovered ancient seals in Harappa. This discovery led to various excavations in Harappa and further excavations in cities such as Mohenjo-Daro in Sindh, Pakistan, Dholavira and Lothal in Gujarat, and Kalibanga in Rajasthan, India. During these excavations, archaeologists found a set of unique objects in almost all these cities. Red pottery painted with designs in black, stone weights, seals, special beads, and copper tools. Since the remains and objects found in these cities were similar to those found in Harappa, archaeologists believe that all these cities belonged to a single civilization, the Indus Valley Civilization or the Harappan Civilization. The Harappan Civilization is known for its well-planned cities, which were usually divided into two parts, the citadel and the lower town. The citadel was usually located towards the west and was smaller but higher. The lower town was located towards the east and was larger but lower. The citadel consisted of some important structures, such as the public bath and the granary. The lower town consisted of houses and workshops. The lower town was divided into rectangular blocks and at wide roads. Most houses in the lower town were either 1 or 2 stories high and had rooms usually built around the courtyard. All the houses were made of baked bricks of uniform size. Most of the Harappan cities had covered drains that were laid out in straight lines. Each drain had a gentle slope so that water could flow through it. Very often, drains in houses were connected to those in streets, and smaller drains led into bigger ones. It's believed that houses, drains, and streets were probably planned and built at the same time. Although the architecture across Harappan cities was similar, each city had at least one unique architectural structure. For example, in Mohenjo-Daro, a very special tank, which archaeologists called the Great Bath, was built in the citadel area. The Great Bath was lined with bricks and coated with plaster and tar to avoid seepage. The bath had adjoining rooms and steps leading down to it from two sides. Lothal, on the other hand, has remains of a bead factory, a huge tank and a storehouse. The remains of the bead factory indicate that Lothal had a flourishing bead industry, which made beads of stone, shell and metal. The huge tank at Lothal must have been a dockyard where boats and ships came in from the sea and through the river channel. Goods unloaded at the dockyard were probably stored in the storehouse, which was close to it. Lothal, like Kalibanga, also had fire altars where sacrifices may have been performed. Unlike some of the Harappan cities, which were divided into two parts, the city of Dholavira was divided into three parts: the citadel, the middle town, and the lower town. Each part was surrounded by massive stone walls with entrances through gateways. It's unfortunate that none of the Harappan architecture has completely survived the test of time. All we see today are the ruins of a very sophisticated and advanced civilization, whose architecture continues to be the center of historical debate for so many, because so much remains unexcavated and unexplored. Let's recall what you have learned. The Harappan civilization extended from Harappa and Mohenjo-daro in Pakistan to Dholavira, Lothal and Kalibanga in India. The Harappan cities were usually divided into two parts, the citadel and the lower town. The citadel was usually located towards the west and the lower town was located towards the east. Most houses in the lower town were either 1 or 2 stories high and had rooms built around a courtyard. Mohenjo-daro had a very special tank called the Great Bath, which was built in the citadel area. Lothal has remains of a bead factory, a huge tank and a storehouse. The city of Dholavira was divided into 3 parts: the citadel, the middle town and the lower town.
Okay guys, with this video I conclude the class of the early Egypt and the new civilization in India. Okay guys, do you have any question? Remember, you need to complete the vocabulary that is as is been assigned, and also the assessment questions, guys. Has to be written in your notebook.
Of the geography and early
If I what?
the assessment of geography and early India.
Yes, it's in the SI, I think. The assignment in the SI. Have you seen it? Okay, okay, then remember.
Yeah, profe. Perfect.
Yes, it has to be written in your notebook, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna ask for them, okay? Okay, guys, then I have to go to another class, then see you next week. Have a nice weekend, guys, okay? Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya, bye-bye.